Hello learners, welcome back, and topic for today's discussion is targeting and positioning. To tell you once again that this topic is a part of the course AMK-01 and BCOE-142. Before we actually discuss this topic as usual, let us quickly recall what we have learned in the previous sessions. So in the previous sessions we have seen that since customers they have gained greater importance in today's marketing, it is very important to cater to them efficiently and effectively so that you can have delighted customers, right? For that, various strategies or various marketing frameworks are being used, and one of the most important marketing framework, or you can say most commonly used marketing framework, is STP, which is segmentation, targeting and positioning is used. And in segmentation, targeting and positioning also, in this framework also, we have discussed segmentation part in the previous session, where we have seen that since the market is heterogeneous and you really want to focus your marketing efforts to have delighted customer, and with a similar offering you cannot satisfy all the customers, you cannot make them happy. So what you can do, that you can divide the market on various segment, on various parts, right? And those parts are called segment. And when you divide the market into various parts, what you're trying to do, you're trying to convert the heterogeneity into homogeneity. How? Because what you're trying to do, you are keeping in one segment, you are keeping all those customers who share common interest, common profile, right? So this is all we have seen, and there are various bases of segmentation also we have seen, such as demographic, geographic, psychographic, behavioral. So these are the bases on which you can segment the market. This is all that we have discussed in the previous session. So in this session we are going to discuss the another two important factors of this STP framework, which is targeting and positioning, right? So let us see what targeting is. You have divided the market, you have created segment of the entire market. Now it is the time for you to choose a particular segment, or maybe more than one segment for you to offer your products, right? Now you are choosing one segment or you are choosing more than one segment, it depends on various other things, right? We will come to that later on. But basically the idea is that after segmenting, you have to identify, you have to choose segments which you can serve, right? So targeting is evaluating potential profits from each segment, because while choosing segment you have to understand, you really have to know which segment is profitable, right? And then you can concentrate all your focus, and then you can concentrate all your marketing efforts to that particular segment, or maybe many such segments, right? So as I said, there are number of factors or number of considerations are there which helps you to decide what segment to choose, and those factors are, one is size and its potential to grow in future. As I said, even while segmenting only, we said that the size of the segment should be enough to fetch some profit to your company, right? Number one. And then it should not be only sizable, but it should also have the potential to grow in future, because you as a business don't want to stagnate, you want to grow. So if you want to grow, your segment has to grow, and if the segment has the potential to grow, you have the opportunity to grow in the market. And then it should be, the segment should be profitable. The customers who are there, you need to check their lifetime value, how much business they are going to bring to you as a company. So you need to check that also. And then you need to check the ease of reach, how easy it is to reach that particular segment, and then competitors' offering. See, whenever we say marketing strategy in Hindi we call Rananiti, and Rananiti means you are devising all your plans, you are designing all your plans according to the enemies that you have in the battlefield. Same here. Likewise, when you are devising some kind of strategy for the market, what you are trying to do, you are trying to check the competitors' strategy also, right? It is very important to know how your competitors are doing in the market and what they are doing in the market, and then only accordingly you have to devise that strategy, right? As I said earlier also, that in targeting you may decide one segment or maybe selected few segments or all segments. See, it is your choice. If you want to segment, you segment. If you don't want to segment, you can go for mass marketing without any segmentation, no segmentation at all, with the belief that one size fits all, right? So, but if you are trying to, go for segmentation, then you have to look for all these considerations. Like, you may decide to have, when I say, choosing, if you are choosing different segments, that means you have to cater to each and, other segments in a way, because as I said, the customers' needs, requirement, their profile are varying, they are changing, they are not same. So, one, a kind of treatment that you are giving to one segment cannot be giving to the other segment. So, you have to give another treatment to another segment. That means you have to have different kind of propositions for different segments, right? So, when I say different propositions, it is basically different kind of marketing mix. Different kind of product, different kind of, pricing strategy, different kind of promotional strategies, different kind of physical distribution strategy. So, all these things you have to consider while you are choosing a particular segment for your market, right? So, now let us see what are the steps in targeting. How do you go step by step if you are using this framework, STP framework in your marketing? So, first we did segmenting, and after segmenting, when we are trying to do targeting, then first of all that we need to understand is to understand the chosen segments completely. And when I say chosen segment, it does not involve only customers, but it also considers the competitors in the society, in the market, and the society in which the market is prevailing, because the values, the beliefs of the society also affect the preference and choice of the customers, right? The second step would be customer analytics. So, you have seen the market as a whole, where everyone is there, customers are there, the society are also you are checking, and the competitors also are checking. Now, you have to focus your entire research area on the customer analytics. Now, you have to do the minute research on the customer's choice, preferences, their behavior, right, and all those things. So, customer analytics, it is so important that customer analytics itself has come up as an important topic in marketing. And for customer analytics, you need to have data. And with this, IT revolution, there is no dearth of data. There is huge data, which is also called big data. And this big data analysis is done by and large by all the companies, and generally data scientists are there who are helping the companies to filter this data, right, and give something useful, something information, something informative that can be used by the company people. And then we do SWOT. Again, SWOT is a very, very important marketing framework, right? SWOT means strength, weaknesses, opportunities and threats. So, before actually deciding what segment to choose, we need to do a SWOT analysis. Strength and weaknesses, which is within ourselves, right, within the company, and opportunities and threats, which is given by the environment, the external environment where the company is prevailing. So, what are the opportunities are there in the market that you can tap? What are the threats that you should take care while choosing a particular segment? So, all these things you need to do. And then you have to observe, what does the overall market look like? What is the proximity, the geographic condition, the demographic condition, the values, culture? You are observing it again. After doing SWOT analysis, you are doing it once again. And then you are analyzing your employees and their capabilities. Because whatever company wants to do, whatever efforts you want to make in the market, who is going to make on your behalf? Your employees, right? So, unless they are capable, you cannot be very successful in marketing, number one. And number two, internal marketing is very, very important here. Why? So, let us quickly understand what internal marketing is, and then you can obviously understand why is internal marketing important, right? You understand in a way, suppose there is any article, there is any commodity captured. Suppose I am wearing a watch, right, and I have to sell this watch to a market, right? Unless I am convinced, and I am the salesperson, unless I am convinced that this watch is very good and this watch has all the features which my segment wants, unless I am convinced, I won't be able to convince to my segment, passionately, or I won't be that convincing, right? So, what is important? That internally, first of all, I should feel that yes, this is the best thing that I can have if I belong to a particular segment. That is called internal marketing, right? You are kind of trying to give that confidence to the salesperson that they are really marketing a good commodity or service. So then you have to check whether your employees are capable or not. If they are capable, well and good. Not, you need to train them accordingly so that they can reach the market and communicate it. And then investigate competitors in the field. This is also one of the, in investigating competitors, it starts from the beginning also, and it keeps on, being with the marketing strategies throughout. Always when I say these steps, please remember one thing, that these steps are, it is not for once. Marketing itself is an ongoing process. So once you do a particular thing, it does not mean you can sit quietly. You have to do it again. You have to start from the beginning again if you have to survive in the market, if you want to grow in the market. So these were the steps in targeting. Now we'll see what are the targeting strategies. Detailed discussion we have done in the previous session. So I'll tell it very quickly. A few of the learners, if you're interested to know these strategies, in detail, you can see the previous session. So very quickly I can tell you that there can be three strategies. One is multi-segment strategy, the other is single segment strategy, and mass marketing. Mass marketing means no segmentation, no segment, right? So there can be three strategies. No segmentation, another thing, that one size fits all. You don't have to do anything. You just enter into the market with your offering which you have, and it is up to the people whether they are buying it, they are liking it, they are not liking it, right? Then you have multi-segment strategy, that you are using this STP framework, segmentation, targeting, in a positioning framework, and then you have segmented the market, and when you have segmented, you are trying to focus your marketing efforts on more than one segment because you are capable enough, maybe you are capable enough to serve more than one segment. Then you have to, you are applying multi-segment strategy. This is also called differentiated marketing. So since you are, as I discussed, since you are targeting, since you are trying to approach different segments, you have to approach them with different propositions. You have to approach them with different marketing mix. And when you have to approach them with different marketing mix, one thing is quite obvious here is that it involves higher marketing costs. On the contrary, when you don't want to segment more, concentrate on more than one segment, you want to concentrate on a particular segment, then it is called a single segment strategy. You are giving all your efforts, you are putting all your efforts, you are focusing it to a particular segment, which is called as concentrated marketing. Now this particular segment can be further divided, you are narrowing it down, and which then you can call that it is micro marketing or individual marketing. So these were the marketing strategies. Once the segment is done, when the segmenting is done, when the segments are clear to the marketer, and through targeting you have decided that I want to whether approach one segment or maybe more than one segment, or you don't want to go for it at all, right? So this is that. Now we see why this STP has got so much popularity. Why is it considered so important in marketing? Because of all these things, the importance of segmentation, the importance of targeting, and the importance of positioning. Importance of segmentation we have already discussed in the previous session. So today we will try to see quickly the importance of targeting in marketing. Why is it important? Suppose you are trying to communicate to the whole market with one message. It may not appeal to everyone, right? If something is communicated to me, if I am a consumer, if I am a customer and something is communicated to me, if I can relate to it, if I can feel that this is for me, this will have much more impact rather than treating it as it is a general information, right? So vague and generic messages, they are very far less likely to be clicked to the audiences than specific, right? Then this targeting activity, it serves both consumers as well as the brands. You are also trying to focus your brand, because through brand only, through brand means product. So through brand or products only, you are trying to target your market, you are trying to reach to your customers. So you are also giving full attention to brand. And then it reduces costs, because you are not going to waste all your resources and energy for all the segments. Rather you are trying to concentrate on either one segment or maybe few selected segments. And it increases revenue, of course. How can it increase revenue? Because this is the way to have delighted customers in the business, and we have discussed in the previous sessions that delighted customers means your market presence is there, your market share is going to increase and you'll have more, you can get more revenue, right? Then quick bites, if I see, what do we quickly know about targeting, it would be speak, or I would say what should we do if we are trying to do this targeting activity. We should speak directly to the defined audience, right? Speak directly. And the other thing is, don't assume things, do marketing research, intense marketing research to know the information, to have the data, and then you talk to the audience. That will be more appealing. Then attracting right customers. You can attract right customers through this targeting. Differentiate your brand from your competitors. Unless you are providing something extra, unless you are providing something which is not already there in the market, there is no meaning to it, there is no value to it. So you can attract customers only when you are providing something different from your competitors or something extra from your competitors, right? It may be extra, it may be different, which is also called as product differentiation. And then you need to build deeper customer loyalty. We would see how can we build it through product positioning, right? Why customer loyalty? Again, because we have discussed in the previous session that customer retention cost is much less than customer acquisition cost. So if you have loyal customers, first of all, your cost is reduced, and second, you get more business because the customer is loyal and they act like your brand ambassadors and they work for you without charging any fee. It improves your brands, products or services if it is required. If in the marketing research you found out that it is some requirement needed, you can improve it, and then you can stay focused. And the most important thing is make use of social media management system, because social media is a platform which everyone is using all across, right? So making use of social media management system is one of the quick and important thing that you can do. And then you have to create buyer's persona. Buyer's persona means you have to know their demographics, professional roles, values and goals, challenges, sources of influence, who are the sources which is influencing the customers, and the buying decisions, how is it influenced, who is actually the decision maker and who is buying. So if you know each and everything which is called as buyer's persona in marketing, so if you can create a clear and proper buyer's persona, it will be very good and it will be useful in your targeting. So this was targeting. In STP we have discussed segmentation and then we have discussed targeting. Now we should talk of positioning, which is the last component of STP: segmentation, targeting and positioning. So you have segmented the market, you have divided the market, and then you have chosen on certain criteria, you have chosen a particular segment or maybe few selected segments, right? So once it is then done, the next important thing that you need to do as a marketer is do positioning. Why positioning? Again, because you want to be in the market for a longer period of time. You don't want to survive only, you want to grow as a business. So for that, positioning is important, right? And before actually discussing positioning, let me give you one example that Xerox. Xerox is what? It is a machine and the service is the photocopying. But the positioning of the brand is so much that Xerox is at times used as the synonym of photocopying. People say get a Xerox copy of this, get 4 Xerox copies of this. So this is positioning in a nutshell, right? So what is positioning? Positioning is imprinting the image of your product or brand in the minds of consumers. You have imprinted in the minds that this is the product, right? And these are the benefits which the product is giving. You can connect it to the product and it is better or different than the competitors, number one. And number two, you are imprinting it, you are putting it in their mind in a way that whenever that service or commodities need is felt, your brand name is coming in the mind, right? So positioning is what? It is the place the product occupies in consumers' mind relative to competitors, competitors or competing products. Again, the competitors are very important. So even when you are doing positioning, this positioning you have to plan, this positioning statement you have to make keeping competitors in the mind. What the competitors are there, how are the customers, they are perceiving the competing products, what is their perception, and where is the lacuna, where is the gap, where is the need which is still not met, right? Or maybe what kind of differentiation the customer is looking for. So for all these things, you need to know all these things while doing the positioning. So again, we can say that positioning is something which is, we try to do as a marketer, as a producer, we try to do, but ultimately who is doing? The consumers. So positioning is typically defined by the consumers on the basis of important attributes. The attributes that you are giving to the consumers through your product or services, they are going to, decide the image of your product, number one, and the customers who are taking it, to whom you are giving this attribute, they together, if customers want, then only this imprinting, this positioning can be done. So positioning involves implanting the brand's unique benefits and differentiation in consumers' mind, right? Again, if we see what do we do in positioning, we try to identify possible competitive advantages, For that you need to make a perceptual map, which is called perceptual mapping of competitors. When you enter into the market, you try to see who are all the competitors who are there in the market, and then you are trying to map them. Map them in the sense what products or services they are offering, what are the attributes or features of those particular products, how are the customers taking those products, whether they are satisfied, is there still scope where you can actually work upon, right? So all these things you can do only when you can map the competitor's perception, right? Which is called as perceptual mapping. And when you do perceptual mapping, it gives a clue for differentiation. If you want to position yourself in the consumer's mind, what you need to do, you have to differentiate your product, right? And differentiate in a better way, so that the consumer thinks of that product when he or she wants to use it. So this perceptual map gives you a clue where the competitors are lacking, what is the gap where you can fit into, right? So differentiation is important in the commodities, and differentiation can be based on products, services, channel, people and image. You can differentiate on the basis of products, you can differentiate on the basis of services, whatever your offering is, maybe the channels, what channel you are using to reach to the customers, the people, the sales people that you are using to communicate to the customers, and the image, right? So positioning can be of three types: functional positioning, symbolic positioning and experiential positioning, on the basis of the attributes that you are providing through your offerings. Offerings means products and services, right? So it can be of three types: functional positioning, symbolic positioning and experiential positioning. When we are trying to do functional positioning, that means we are trying to identify some features which the competitors are not providing in the market, which we can provide. That is called functional positioning, right? Like for instance, although it is very old now all the companies are doing, but in ACs, earlier it was not the case, but now if you see, there are certain features inbuilt with the air conditioners. No, you can keep it on sleep mode, or you can use time intervals and so on and so forth. So these are functional positioning. What extra benefit you are giving to the customers, which were not earlier given by the competitors. And the other is symbolic positioning. Symbolic positioning is what? Something that the customers can relate with the image, with customers' image, their self-esteem or ego needs. That is called symbolic positioning. Many phones are there, many cars are there, many hotels are there, right? But for example, you have chosen a particular segment who is very conscious of the self-image, of self-esteem, or maybe want to distinguish in the society, then you have to provide, something which is termed as luxury, which not everyone or common people can afford. So this is called symbolic positioning, right? That the customer can connect with the needs which the customer has. And then experiential positioning. In experiential positioning, what we are doing, we are trying to focus all those feature elements of the offering which can connect emotionally with the customers. You must be seeing various promotional campaigns where they use this emotional connect. Like for example, you must be seeing with certain chocolates kuch meetha ho jaye, or for detergent powders daag achhe hain, because with the whole campaign, if you see the whole advertisement, it is shown that the kid is trying to help the other kid, and in the process the clothes are soiled and the mom is saying daag achhe hain. So emotional connect here again. And then जीवन के साथ भी, जीवन के बाद भी, no need to tell that this campaign can only be of insurance companies. So with all these statements, with all these punchlines, what we are trying to do? We are trying to connect emotionally with the customers. So this is positioning. This is experiential positioning. Ideally, of all these, these three positioning that we saw, symbolic, functional and experiential, ideally marketers want to combine all three factors to position their brand or product, especially if they want to cater to more than one segment. They have to combine all these things. And this is also important because if you want to have the competitive advantage which the competitors are not having, then it is important if you combine all these three things: functional, this experiential, right, positioning, and this social positioning. So you can position your market by showing what is important in the minds of customers. And for all this, you need to make a market positioning map. If you're trying to combine symbolic, functional and experiential positioning, you have to make a positioning map. So now let us see what is positioning map. Positioning map is nothing but they are the plot perceptions of brands which are commonly used in campaigns. How is your brand, how is your offering is perceived by the consumers? You have to map it. Whether you are trying to show it as a luxury, you are trying to show it as an economic offering, or you are trying to show to the customers that something which is modestly priced with added benefits, with added features. This positioning map is also called a perceptual map, and it shows where existing products and services are positioned in the market so that the firm can decide where they would like to place their product in the minds of the consumers. So this is positioning map. Now we will see what is the positioning process. So what we are trying to do, first of all we try to identify the competitors. Because why are we trying to identify the competitors and their strategy? Because I am trying to look for something unique, something extra which I as a marketer can provide to the customers, right? So to create that unique positioning, to have that unique selling proposition which is popularly called as USP, I need to identify the competitors in the market and I need to know their strategies, right? So, and when we are trying to identify the competitors, what we are trying to do? We are trying to determine how the competitors are perceived and evaluated by the customers, and determining the competitors' positions, how they are mapped in the minds of the customers. Second step that we do is identifying qualitative features of our own offerings, some traits, some uses, maybe emotional connect, etc. So what are the important qualitative features that your offering is having? Because when you're trying to create USP, unique selling proposition, you can use that particular feature. And then analyzing customer. When we are trying to analyze customer, what do? We analyze the customer. We try to know each and every bit of the customer's choice, preferences, their paying capacity, the society they belong to, their influences. So when we are trying to do all such things, and after knowing this, we can prepare a positioning statement. So this is the statement through which I am going to talk to my customers, or which is the positioning statement which I am going to communicate to my customers. And then comparative analysis of all the three. Comparative analysis of competitors, customers and all the external factors which are there in the market, so that we can identify the gap and we can inbuild that gap into my unique selling proposition. So identifying unique position, when you did all that, you could identify now unique positioning, which is called positioning statement. And when you make the positioning statement, then you have to execute it, you have to communicate it to the customers. Believe me, again, positioning process is an ongoing process. You have to keep on monitoring it, measuring it, evaluating it, and constantly measuring the performance of your brand, of your offering or your positioning. Whatever way you have positioned the product, the offering in the market, on a regular interval, you have to keep on evaluating it, whether it is working or not. If it is not working, or if it is diluting somewhere, you may have to reposition it. Repositioning is as important as positioning, please remember it. There are many instances when the companies have been wiped out of the market only because they could not reposition themselves. And the biggest example is Nokia phone, I would say. How do you develop a positioning statement? What is a positioning statement? It is just a sentence that spells out what extra your offering is giving to the customers, right? So this positioning statement, it generally includes the target segment, whom you are segmenting, the brand name, the offering name, the product or service category, which category does it belong to, whether it is a necessity, a luxury, a comfort, what is it, or maybe a status symbol, and then key points of differentiation. It should include, the positioning statement should include the key points of differentiation, the most important, how your offering is different from the others, and the reasons customers should believe the positioning claims. One most important thing that I would suggest to keep in mind, you as a marketer, while you are going to market your products in the market, you should make the positioning statement simple and jargon free. Many a times you see that the positioning statement, they are full of jargons, so it is not helping, rather it is creating some kind of chaos in the market. So try to make it simple and try to make it jargon free. Then you have to communicate it to the students, and you have to communicate in a way, and you have to choose the channel of communication also, the effective media of communication. Which media do you want to choose? Then also you have to be very, very conscious, and according to the analytics that you have done in the past, now you can decide to which segment what media to be used for communication. And then you are trying to deliver your USP in a way that is imprinted in the minds of customers. For example, if you say Thanda matlab, automatically some brand is coming in your brand, or when you say it's different, or when you say Teda hai par mera hai, so something is coming in your mind. Why? Because it has been positioned in that particular way. If we see the quick bites of positioning, I would just say that whatever you have promised in your positioning statement, you should try to deliver that particular thing. And if you want to deliver what you have promised, then you have to concentrate on each and everything. You have to concentrate on the inferences or the results that have come out of the marketing research. You have to take care, or you have to do the segmentation, targeting, these two activities very cautiously, so that you can, while doing positioning, you can position it in a better way. So you have to deliver whatever you have promised in your positioning statement. If you fail to do so, you fail in the market. Why positioning is important, you have seen, because this gives an extra edge to you. This gives an extra edge to your offering or to your brand in the market. So positioning is very, very important, and we do not need to say line by line, like it creates market differentiation, or it fetches you more revenue, or it justifies the pricing strategy. So this is quite understandable now, that positioning is very, very important, and what are its benefit to the marketer. As I said, internal marketing we have discussed. For positioning, the one most important thing is internal marketing. Please don't forget it. Internal marketing in detail we will discuss in the sessions to come, but for this time just remember that if you want to communicate better to the customers, you have to communicate to the persons, to the media through which you are going to communicate to the customers. So unless you are marketing here, the middle way, unless you are marketing here, you cannot market efficiently to the ultimate customers. So you have to take care of internal marketing also in the market. So we have seen segmentation, targeting and positioning. So let us quickly summarize what all we have learned in segmentation, targeting and positioning. This is a 3-step process, right? And it helps the marketer in identifying the most profitable customers and then tailor the marketing efforts and products to the needs of the identified customers. And that is why the STP has gained so much of importance in marketing world, and why it is considered as the most or commonly used marketing framework. So at a glance, if you want to see marketing, STP, segmentation, targeting and marketing. In segmentation, what we did, we tried to create homogeneity into the heterogeneous market on the basis of various bases. And then we are trying to determine important characteristics of each segment. In targeting, we evaluated the potential and commercial attractiveness of each segment. We did SWOT analysis, and then we decided whether we want to go for one segment or we want to choose more than one selected segments. And then we did positioning, wherein we prepared the detailed product. We try to position for selected market segments, and we are trying to develop a different marketing mix for different marketing segments. So this was learners STP, segmentation, targeting and positioning. In the coming sessions, we'll talk of other topics. We'll explore other topics of marketing. So till then, keep learning. Bye bye.